Hey, what's up, guys? It's Attorney Lee, and I am excited to bring you another episode in my co parenting series. Um, Last month, I talked about communication, and I did express that although this series is specifically speaking to co parents, but last month, my video on communication could be used for any relationship. So please be sure to go check out that video. It was a great video um, where I just am giving advice on how to become a better communicator, so that you can become a better parent, or so that can become a better friend, or a better daughter, or a better coworker. You know what I'm saying? So please go check that video out. But today I'm excited to be talking about the power of flexibility. This is my third part in my co parenting series. The first part was about forgiveness, second, about communication, and then this third part is about flexibility, right? And so I want to talk to you guys today about the power of flexibility and how it's something that is really needed in every co-parenting relationship. Flexibility is needed, and I'm going to go into detail about why it's important. But before we get into that, I want to encourage you guys to please follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Lee Law Texas. Please follow me on Facebook at the Lee Law Firm the Lee Law Firm LLC. And then also please please check out my website here. This is where you can reach me if you need help with my legal services. I do offer family law services as well as estate planning. So if you need help in any of those areas or know someone that does, if you go to my website and then fill out the contact form, I will get in contact with you so that I can schedule with you a free 30-minute consultation. So please check that out. But we're gonna go ahead and obviously this is my YouTube channel. My YouTube name is Attorney Lee. Just how it was. Just how it is there on the screen, Attorney Lee. You should be able to find me. But of course, I'm gonna post this link to this video everywhere. So all you have to do is click on the link. You'll be right at my YouTube page. But anyways, let's go ahead and jump into the content. So today, as I said, we are talking about the power of flexibility, right? And why this is something that every single co-parent needs in order to have a better relationship with their child's other parent. Okay? So, number one, let's talk about it. Treat others how you would want to be treated. And I say, even though, right? Even though it is easier said than done. Okay, so what do I mean by this? For example, we know that in life we have plans, right? We have a lot of plans. Plans for work, like your career goals, right? Plans for school. Some of us are students or non-traditional students who are going back to school after being out for a while, right? Um, Plans with your children, plans with we all have plans. You guys see what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So we all have these plans, but we know that sometimes plans can get derailed, right? Um, for a various many or many circumstances can cause our plans to get derailed. Some unexpected, some expected. But regardless, plans change, right? And a big issue that I've seen as I've been practicing family is that parents don't know how to react when plans change. They don't know how to, again, I'll say that parents do not know how to react when plans change. For example, um, you were supposed to pick your child up after football practice, but you get a flat tire, right? So now you can't pick them up. You try calling around, try to get someone else to help you pick your child up, but it doesn't work. So you have to tell the other parent, like, hey, unfortunately, I can't pick him up today, right? Now the response should be, the response should be, okay, understand these circumstances are beyond your control. Let me try to figure out if I can pick him up or if somebody else on my side can pick him up. However, that's not usually what the response is. The response is usually met with anger, usually met with, well, you need to figure it out because when he's with me or when she's with me, I figured out. And so it just, you see what I'm saying? It becomes very aggressive, very hostile compared to just making that slight adjustment, right? And so what happens is when you do that, it causes a vicious cycle of a tit for tat type of cycle, right? Because I can already hear people saying, I can already hear the viewers saying back to me, you're who watching this video saying, oh, I've done that, but my child's other parent didn't do it. And so you see why I emphasize you, right? Because you have to continue to do the right thing, even though your child's mother or father is not doing the right thing. You have to, right? Because the principle is to treat others how you would want to be treated, right? Not treat others how they treat you. Because if we always just treat others how they treat us, we would just have a world of bad and a world of just ongoing negative, toxic cycles. And we want to break out of those toxic cycles. We've got to be able to show grace to other people. You understand what I'm saying? Especially our child's other parent. Now, obviously, if this is a continued cycle and it's like every time they're supposed to pick them up, it's an excuse, then you may have to make an adjustment. You may have to have a sit down talk with your child's other parent. Check out my communication video to, go into the details about that. But I'm talking about when these abrupt changes happen, right? You have to realize that, yes, this may be an inconvenience to me, but my child's other parent is not doing this on purpose, right? And a life circumstance has happened that has prevented them from doing so. So I need to handle the situation with grace, and I need to work with them to try to fix this situation. Because again, if you were in your child's other parent's shoes, you would want that same grace, right? If you're supposed to take your daughter to gymnastics practice, but your boss says, hey, you actually can't get off today at 5. You're gonna have to get off at 6 or 7. You're gonna need that your child's other parent to show you that grace. You're gonna need your child's other parent to make that adjustment, right? Because even though it was planned that you would take them to gymnastics practice, you can't do that, because if you do that, you're in jeopardy of losing your job, right? Which would cause more stress on you and your child's other parent, right? Physically and financially. So the number one step how to be a more flexible parent is treat others how you want to be treated. Keeping that in mind when these changes happen, these unforeseen circumstances happen, even in some cases where there are foreseen circumstances, like say your car breaks down 2 to 3 days before practice. Now you already know you can't take them, right? So that's what I'm saying. That's a foreseen circumstance, but you have to be able to exhibit that grace to your child's other parent, because you're hoping that in response they'll show you that same grace, right? Okay, so let's move on to the next point. So the next point is change must be embraced, not just tolerated. And so this is a very important point, because this is how you avoid your child feeling like a burden. Now, when we look at the word embrace, right? So embraced, it's welcomed. It means that something is welcomed with enthusiasm. You're kind of excited about this change, right? Or, yeah, you're excited about this change, or you're just accepting this change. Didn't make you upset. It's a change. you're going to adjust to along with your child's other parent. And so you see, I say not tolerated because toleration, on the other hand, means when you just accept something with reluctance. And so let me give you an example. You have been working, right? And you decide, hey, this job is kind of like a dead end for me. I have a passion to do something else, but in order to do that something else, I got to go back to school. Okay. So now you now have work and then you have to go to night class. Before you were in night class, right, you were able to adjust and take your child to whatever activity that they needed to go to. Or you were just able to get them on a certain day, right? Like after school, like let's just give an example of Thursdays. So you were able to get your child consistently on Thursdays, and you were able to have them from Thursdays to Monday to the following Monday. But you can't do that anymore because now you have Thursday night class, and you don't want to be getting out of class till 9-10 o'clock at night. So now your child's other parent has to have them that extra day, or you had to make some type of plans to where somebody else can get possession of your child that night, and then maybe you can go and get them like Friday morning or Friday after school, right? And just obviously good, something that you're doing, as I said, to better your life, but also be able to better provide for your child and also be an example for your child, right? To show that they should go after their dreams. And it doesn't matter if they get off track, life circumstances happen, that they should still go after their dreams. Because a lot of times the dreams that are tied to us, the dreams and the passions that are inside of us is literally what we were put on the earth to do. You understand what I'm saying? So this is a good change. But instead of being celebrated by your child or the parent, you're now being demonized by your child's other parent. You're now being now your child's other parent is now saying, yeah, you would get more time with mom, you would get more time with dad, but they decided to do this night class, and now you got to go with grandma, or now you got to be with me an extra day, and this is messing up my plans because I was supposed to do this and I was supposed to do that, but now I can't do it no more on Thursdays. So you see how that goes. So then you start complaining to the child, because when you just tolerate the change but you don't embrace it, you're pissed off about the change. Excuse my language, but you're upset. You're upset about the change, and you're gonna make it. And now you're making it clear, or your child's other parent is making it clear that they're upset about the change, and that's how the child starts to feel like a burden. That's how the child starts to feel like, man, maybe if the child starts to feel like I'm the reason. My mom's upset. My mom's upset because of the change. My dad's upset because my mom's not accepting the change. And this is all because of me. Because regardless of is it about the child? No. Both parents are upset at each other. But when you're consistently complaining to the child about the change, the child is gonna feel like they're at some fault for this, right? They're the ones that's causing their mom now to miss out on her girls' night every other Thursday. You know what I'm saying? You understand? So it's like, dang, if I wasn't here, there would not be any issues. Same thing if, as I said in the previous point, there's some activity, but now they can no longer take you to the activity, and maybe the child, now we got to consider, maybe we got to switch teams or switch something that's more conducive to our schedule. They feel like, okay, maybe I just shouldn't be in anything because me being in this is causing my parents to fight, and I don't want my parents to fight. You understand what I'm saying? So this is why change cannot just be tolerated. It has to be embraced. It has to look like the child. The child needs to know that the parents are working together to adjust their schedules, and that it's not a problem. that both parents want to make the schedule work so that both parents can get the time they're supposed to have with the child. Both parents have the responsibility to care, to provide for, to take their child to designated activities, to take their child to school, etc., etc. And the child needs to see the parents working together, not working against each other. Because you working against each other, even though you not mad at the child, or your child's and the parents not mad at the child, but because y'all are mad at each other and y'all keep talking about the change to the child now feels like I'm the issue. And so if we want to avoid that, right, we got to embrace the change and not just tolerate it. We got to accept the change with enthusiasm, and we got to let it be known to the child. Hey, and here's the thing. Have you ever heard fake it till you make it? So even though you may not be elated about the change, you're still not letting that be known to your child. To your child, everything is great. Everything is great. The adjustment is not a problem. Now, behind closed doors to your girlfriends and your your boyfriends and whatever, your mommy, daddy, if you want to complain outside of the presence of the child, then that's your business. But the goal is to keep everything as a synergy between you and your child's other parent so that the child is not affected. Right? Because I told y'all in the first video, not in the first video, but I need to post it on here, but I did a whole video about how divorce and separation affects children. Now I'm gonna get it uploaded. It's on my TikTok, so go check out my TikTok, Lead Law Texas. But where I explain all the ways that it affects. So it's like in order for all those negative things not to affect the child from the separation, it takes this exact point, what I'm saying right here. Embracing change, not tolerating it, because you want to prevent as much negativity going on to the child as possible. Okay? So now we will get to our last and final point. Here is our last and final point. It says court orders and family law are a guide, not a rule. If the court is flexible, why aren't you? Right? So, family law court is not like other types of court, right? It's not like criminal court. It's not like, even though it is part of civil, it's not like other civil suits, right? It's not like a contract law or anything like that. It's a very specific type of court. And the judges, like things that wouldn't be accepted or admitted into evidence and all that type of stuff in other cases, it will be admitted in the family law cases. The way that the hearings flow is just totally different. Why is it like that? Because this is dealing with families. This isn't transactions. These are children's lives at stake most of the time. You know, if you're in family court, unless it's just a divorce with no children, but even so, it's someone's personal lives at stake. And how the judge rules is going to have serious effect and serious consequences. So when the judge is putting an order in place, they are trying to put an order in place that is going to be a guide to help the parents be able to parent more effectively and to kind of help be that middle ground. So if the parents can't come to an agreement, it's like, this is what you guys should do. This is what you guys should follow. But the family law court does not put orders in place as it's do or die, meaning you follow this. If you don't follow this, you're in trouble, right? The only way that comes into play is if you and your child's other parent don't agree. So the court never puts orders in place to usurp or to take away the power from the parents. The court wants the parents to have all the power. That's why in court orders, they always say, hey, this can change by agreement of the parents. Because the court doesn't want to just keep telling you what to do. You know, I said in my last video about how the court is no place for families. And that's kind of how the court operates. You know what I'm saying? Like they will put parameters in place if parents can't agree and things like that. They will come down hard on you if you're supposed to be doing something and your other parent doesn't agree that it should be changed, and you're just saying I'm gonna change it anyway. So the court will come down on you because of that, right? Because they don't want parents taking advantage of other parents and not allowing, parents to just do whatever, because a lot of the times when the parents are not following court orders, it's at the expense of the child. But the court always wants parents, if they can, to come to an agreement, to be able to change things in the court order without having to come back to court, because circumstances change. A good example is, I was making all this money when we first got divorced, or when we first did this custody suit. I got laid off, or I decided to change my career, or whatever. So I'm not making that same amount of money, right? So I can then, me and my child's other parent can then agree, like, hey, this should be my child support number. Now, unfortunately, a lot of parents can't agree on that. And so, this is why people got to go back to court, and you got to spend more money so that you can change a number, when you could have just agreed to change the number with the child's other parent, but they don't want to do that. So that's the issue. But the court always allows leniency if the parents can communicate and come to an agreement. Same thing with possession schedules. Hey, every other weekend from Thursday to Monday you can work. Now I gotta work on weekends. It's not working. You know what I'm saying? I need to change it. Hey, child's other parent, like, let's come up with a different possession agreement so that I can see my child and not just have to have possession of them, but they're really at grandma's house the whole time. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Co-parents know what I'm talking about. Who's watching this video? So if the court is flexible, why aren't you? Again, if the court is flexible, why aren't you? Why aren't you willing to work with your child's other parent to get an agreement if circumstances have changed? Why do you want to force your child's other parent and yourself? Because you also have to spend money and time if y'all go back to court. Why do you want to choose to do that instead of simply just finding common ground with your child's other parent, aka being flexible? Put it back on the screen. The power of flexibility, right? If you can implement these into your life of ways to be more flexible, I guarantee you will start to see things in your co-parenting relationship shift. Because one, the parents are going to say, oh, wow, instead of arguing with me because I couldn't get the baby on this day because of this unforeseen circumstance, they're like, oh, it's no problem. I'll figure, I think I can get my mom to pick them up. You know what I'm saying? Wow. Okay. Instead of simply just tolerating, that your child's other parent is trying to better themselves and go to school, how about talking to your child and saying, oh my God, I'm so proud of your mom. The schedule has changed, but we're going to figure it out, because see how important it is? Like, see what your mom is doing? Right? You're now making your child feel like, man, they're proud of my other parent. They love my other parent. And they're going to work with them to figure out how I can still get to football practice. Wow. So not only better in the relationship with you and the child's other parent, but also look at what that's doing to your child, right? How that's going to make your child pretty happy. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not having to deal with the stress of the change. And then, lastly, realizing that just because a change has occurred doesn't mean that you need to drag your child's other parent to court to argue over such minute things when y'all simply have mouths to communicate. And y'all can find common ground yourselves. And then literally all you have to do is just write out the change and give it to the judge, and the judge is going to sign off on it. Because family court judges, they sign off on on all agreements that parents have, as long clearly as it's not a detriment to the child. So of course, y'all can't agree to do something that's going to be harmful to your child, but agreeing to something that works out for both parents, the court wants you to do that. That's why a lot of courts now even say, hey, before y'all can even go to what we call final trial, which is like to settle the case finally, you got to go to mediation. You got to talk it out, because the court wants you to talk it out. The court wants you guys to honestly change the agreement. Change it, please, by all means. So I just want to encourage you today that if you've been struggling with flexibility, begin to implement it. Now, of course, I'm going to put out another video. My next video will be about, what happens when you've done all you can. You've taken the high road. You're forgiving. You're flexible. You're being a better communicator. You're doing all of this, and it's like things still aren't progressing. The co-parenting relationship is still stale or still detrimental. I'm going to go over, what do you do at that point? But for right now, if you're a parent that hasn't implemented flexibility into your co-parenting relationship, I encourage you to do it today and see how it's not only going to change your life, your child's other parents' life, but honestly, and most importantly, how it's going to change your child's life. So, I hope that y'all like the content today, right? I want to encourage y'all, please like this video. Please like the video. Please share the video on all platforms amongst your friends and family. And please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm doing this channel because I want to be able to offer more than just, hey, you coming to me for my legal services, right? I want to be able to offer advice to people that can help, actually genuinely help families, right? And honestly encourage families not to have to fight and go to court. Because if you can avoid that, it's less pain on you, it's less pain on your child. So please like and share this video. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Please follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Lee Law Texas. Please follow me on Facebook at the Lee Law Firm LLC. And also, if you need any help with family law, which is, divorce, custody, child support or possession and access enforcement, gestational agreements, adoptions, name changes, grandparents' rights cases, child support modification. If you need help with that, right? And if you're also looking for an estate planning attorney, like you need a will, you need an advanced medical directive, you need power of attorney drafted up for you, please reach out to me on my website at theleelawfirmtx.com. If you fill out the form on the contact page, I will get back with you to schedule you for a free 30-minute consultation. So thank you so much for rocking out with me today, guys. And I will see you soon. Peace.